Hi students, I am Sonia from Vidya Guru. We are starting a session on vocabulary today. And vocabulary, as in the kind of questions which are going to be there, they are asked in various ways. Today's topic of discussion will be based on one word substitution. The name suggests the entire thing. Let's say, when we say there's a sentence or a group of words which is actually given in front of you and you need to substitute that entire sentence with one word, that's basically one word substitution. One word for the sentence, entire sentence or group of words. You need to learn all the words, and believe me, you cannot say that one word substitution is not the part of our course or our curriculum. You need to understand vocabulary is the part of every competitive exam. So consider it a session on vocabulary. If you like the video, you can press the like button. You should share the video with your friends so that they can be benefited too, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for sure, so that the kind of videos we upload, you will be getting the notification of such videos. Alright, we are starting the video. The first question suggests, the crime of betraying one's country. The crime of betraying one's country. You need to understand, when we talk about the word betray, that means to cheat, that means to cheat. Alright, there's a person and that person is betraying his own country, that's to cheat your country. So the word is treason, which conveys the idea of deceiving, ditching your own nation. That's treason. That means, I told you, the crime of betraying one's country. So you are not loyal towards your nation because you are not loyal. So that sort of thing, that crime is known as treason. Alright, let's move to the second question that says, a sheath for the blade of a sword. As we have written blade of a sword, that means we are talking about a sword, knife or dagger sort of things. Please understand the words. Knife, I have actually used that word deliberately because you can understand what kind of things are we referring to. It is basically a kind of cover for the knife, for the dagger, for the swords. So the kind of close fitted cover, that is basically sheath, and that cover is known as scabbard. See, the words are going to be difficult for you this time. A little difficult, I'm not saying very difficult, but you need to understand the level of the exam has increased to that extent that you need to learn all these difficult words too. So scabbard is a good word, you need to keep that word in your mind. Sheath, cover, close fitted cover for the sword, knife or dagger. So that is known as scabbard. See, these are the answers which were there in the question paper. Believe me, these are the answers. There were options and these were the answers. That is why I am actually specifically telling you these words only. Scabbard, sheath, for the blade of a sword. The next question says mania for travel. The next question is mania for travel. The word is dromomania. Both the question and the answer have the word mania in them, and you need to separate it. Read it, one is dromo and the other one is mania. When you understand the meaning of dromo individually, you need to understand dromo means path. So that path, if a person walks on that path, that means that person likes traveling. But the level of that traveling is basically mania. So that mania for travel is dromomania. So associate that word or consider it that way, that dromo is associated with travel. Path, travel, that is why dromomania. The next question is, one who has suddenly gained new wealth, power and prestige. We generally say that people who became rich, but they became rich recently. So such kind of people we are referring to, and they should be addressed by parvenu. They are parvenu. I'm writing the word. Going to make you understand how to keep this word in your mind. I'm sure you haven't heard this word before. Alright, let's break it. I know that you are not going to forget it now. The pronunciation of this word, you say it, you call it par. You call it par. So associate this par with this par. That's par, par. And when we say a person who became newly rich, that new word is here. N-E-W, new. Associate that new with this new. Parvenu, par, new, parvenue, parvenue. I am sure if you see this word in the options now, you will be able to mark it as the right answer. Parvenue, 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 parvenue. So keep this in mind. A person who became newly rich, a person who gained wealth, prestige recently. So that person is parvenu. The next question is decay of organic matter. Decay of organic matter producing a fetid smell. I hope that smell word is going to give you the entire idea of the passage, of the sentence. When we talk about this word fetid, we associate this word with fetid feet, and when we refer to something like feet sort of thing, we are talking about the bad smell of the feet. And if we are referring to that bad smell of feet, that's what fetid mean. That means this bad smell, fetid feet, fetid smell is coming out from something. And what is that? Basically the decay of organic matter. Decay of organic matter. Organic matter is not in the sound state, it is stinking, and that fetid smell is. So that fetid smell, that decay is putrefy. That decay is putrefy. So I am going to repeat that. I am saying that organic matter, the decay of organic matter which is producing fetid smell, so that decay is putrefy. Keep the spellings in your mind. I'm bothered about your spellings as well. I pronounce the word putrefy, so that's F. Let's move to this next question. That's distorted representation of something. Distorted, which is not in the sound state, which is bad, which is weird, which is absurd. So when we say something is absurd, the representation of something, that absurd representation of something, that is basically travesty. Travesty is the absurd representation of something. You are representing something, but not in the right manner, but in the absurd manner. That is travesty. Travesty, absurd representation of something. So absurd representation, distorted representation of something, that's travesty. The next question says one who loads and unloads ships. That means there will be a person. That is why we have used this word one out here. So that's the person who is employed at the dockyard. Who is employed at the dockyard. He works there, he is the employee of that place, and we are saying what is his job? To load and unload, to load and unload. So that's his profile, that's his profession. That person is stevedore. Let me write it. I am sure you're going to pronounce it stevedore. That's not stevedore. You need to pronounce it like that. That's stevedore. Stevedore, that's the pronunciation of the word. It looks like stevedore, but it is stevedore. That's the person who does the work of loading and unloading ships. The next question is belief or opinion contrary to what is generally accepted. We accept something and something goes against that. That is heresy. We accept something which is generally accepted, especially, I'm saying specially, any sort of orthodox belief or any sort of set belief. If that idea is there, if that generally accepted idea is there, if any opinion, any belief goes against that, that's heresy. That's heresy. If you don't understand that, I'll give you an example, you may understand that after that. It's H-E-R-E-S-Y, heresy. See, before Galileo, the concept was that the earth is flat. The earth is flat. Before him, the concept was the earth is flat. that Galileo said that the earth is not flat, the shape of the earth is round. The earth's shape is round. So please understand that idea of Galileo was against generally accepted idea. It was against the generally accepted idea. So that opinion, that belief, that kind of idea, that kind of belief is heresy, which is against the generally accepted idea or generally accepted belief. The next question is a feeling of intense longing of something, longing for something. You want something in an intense manner, you want something. Please don't misunderstand the word long. Long, that means, that tells you that we want something, we have the desire for something. So that desire, that wish, that long, that intense desire for something, that feeling, a feeling of intense longing for something, that's yearning. That word is yearning, writing it. Going to repeat that. A feeling of intense longing for something, that's yearning. The next question is a person who's blamed for wrongdoings of others. So when we start talking about such words, that's scapegoat. That's scapegoat. The word is scapegoat. We are sacrificing a goat. We are sacrificing a goat. Like, a person is somebody else who's basically the culprit and his crime. The other person is going to be blamed for the first person's crime. That's basically scapegoat, a person who's blamed for wrongdoings of others. That's his crime? No, that's somebody else's crime. And he is being blamed for somebody else's crime. That is why scapegoat. The next question is fanatical and uncompromising pursuit of ideals. Because it is fanatical, that means it is in one direction, zeal, passion, enthusiasm, whatever you have, that's in one direction towards one thing, that's fanatical. But I'm saying that uncompromising pursuit of ideals. When we say fanatical and uncompromising pursuit of ideals, let me tell you the word. I'm going to associate that word with, first of all, you need to understand the word is zeal. Because that person is showing zeal, passion, enthusiasm for one thing, so that person has that zeal. See, if I tell you the word zealotry, you cannot learn that word. That is why I'm breaking that word, trying to make you learn that one. The word is zeal, that gives you the information that that person has passion and enthusiasm. When we say the person who has that zeal is zealot, I'm saying the person who has that zeal, passion and enthusiasm is a zealot, and the idea, those ideals, uncompromising pursuit of ideals, that's zealotry. Zealotry. So break that word and read it carefully, you will be able to learn that word. Zealotry, the person has the zeal, zealot. I'm saying zealotry, that's basically the uncompromising pursuit of ideals. A person has the stamina to stick to one ideal. Like Edison wanted to invent the bulb and he did that. After experimenting with more than 10,000 materials, matters, and after such a labor, that sort of uncompromising pursuit of ideals he had, and that is how he could, that is why he could actually invent the bulb. Edison. So that person had zealotry. That person had zealotry. The next question is feeling or showing remorse for a sin. You are feeling repentant for a sin. You've done something wrong and now you are feeling repentant about it. You are feeling sorry about it. So because you are feeling sorry, because you are feeling repentant about the wrong thing that you've done, so that feeling is basically contrite. You've done something wrong. I'm saying you've done something wrong. You are feeling repentant about that. You're feeling sorry about that. That's basically, that feeling is contrite. We are starting the revision. Stick to it. You have to be careful now. The crime of betraying one's country, that's treason. Sheath for the blade of sword, that's scabbard. Dromomania, mania for travel. If you have gained wealth, power and prestige recently, parvenu, parnu. Producing fetid smell, decay of organic matter, that's putrefy. Distorted, absurd, representation of something, absurd representation of something, that's travesty. Stevedore, that's the person who loads and unloads ships. Belief which goes against the generally accepted thing, that's heresy. A feeling of intense longing for something, yearning. A person who's blamed for wrongdoings of others, that's scapegoat. Fanatical or uncompromising pursuit of ideas, that's zealotry. Feeling or showing remorse for a sin, that's contrite. We are wrapping it up. Thank you so much.